This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is sharing the message that connection is crucial because good relationships are an essential and sometimes overlooked component of mental well-being. If your relationships could use some strengthening, a licensed therapist from Talkspace can help. Therapy can help you communicate better with loved ones, repair conflicts, and understand how to address loneliness and build community. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a therapist within 2 days. You'll meet with your therapist online on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make personal connections a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast, where fitness, mindset, and real talk collide. This isn't just about workouts. It's about transforming your body, mind, and life. Get ready for unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and the motivation you need to level up in every way. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast. I am Melissa Vogel, your host. Welcome to the show. If you are a new listener, you have landed on the perfect episode. This is one of those episodes that you listen to and you share with your girlfriend, with your friends. You never know what episode is going to hit someone hard and change their life. And that's exactly what we're here to do. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. As always, this episode is not going to disappoint. I'm really excited that you're all here today and listening to this one because this one kind of hits home. I share a little bit about my personal experience with all of it, with relationship, domestic violence. Like, it's a topic that is not fun. When women get into this position and men, we go like, how the hell did this even happen? Like, how did this happen to me? But that doesn't mean we need to shy away from it. And as you guys know in this podcast, like, we talk about everything. We dive into everything because all of this is connected to your health and fitness journey. So if you are looking to improve that journey, if you are looking to go next level, if you're looking to figure out, like, how do I do this? Like, what should I be doing? Should I join a program? Should I join a group? Should I start working out at the gym? Should I start out at home? If you have questions like that, book a call. Get on. Send me a DM. If booking a call is too intimidating, send me a DM. It's Melissa Vogel. Follow us over there. We also have the Bomb Life Podcast. You can follow and listen over there, but we're here to help. And I want everyone to be confident in the next step. And I want you to have a plan to meet the future you. And you can't do that unless you look at all avenues of your life. You come up with a plan. And leading into this episode, you learn that the past you, your past, doesn't define your future and who you're going to become. And today's episode is all about looking at our past, learning from it, and also looking at our current situation and how we can change that. How do we not stay somewhere that's stuck, toxic, whatever, and move forward, even though the fear of the unknown is so real, right? So this is why we talk about this gross, ugly stuff. This is why I share my own story and my own journey. This is why our guest is on today sharing. because we want to show you that it is possible, 100% possible. As you guys know, this podcast is changing a little bit. Not changing, but just like we're adding to it. Like we're growing and adapting. Now we have video, so you guys can actually watch and learn from it. It's really, really cool. And then also we're starting like a whole unfiltered series. Oh my God, when's that coming out? Like next week, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna have my awesome co-host Jen on with me, and we are diving in. And then I bring this up because I will be sharing more about my personal life and my own story, and what I've been through that I actually talk about a little bit in today's episode. So stay tuned, you guys. Lots coming, and I'm really excited to like kind of launch like this series and really get like unfiltered with you guys. Okay, so today's guest, she is the incredible Christie Raibeck, a relationship realist and a woman who turned deep pain into serious, powerful purpose. After surviving a toxic relationship and trauma bonding, Christie rebuilt her life completely from the inside out. And yes, she even predicted, get this, she predicted the exact day she would meet her husband. Isn't that nuts? She does a reading with me. Through her podcast, she has 12 episodes out there, Dating After Domestic Violence. Go check out that show, you guys, because it's just a great resource to have if you need more education, you need to feel a little empowered. Go check out her podcast episodes that she have out there, Dating After Domestic Violence. But she does intuitive readings, destiny cards, which she actually did mine on this show. Like she's like, "Oh, girl, you're really like." I can't remember the exact words she used. Let me write this. Let me read. I don't know. She said like powerful and strong, and like I'm like, She's like kind of dominating. Yeah. So the destiny card thing was so cool, and she does human design, and her refreshingly honest approach to healing and how she helps others navigate the love, the self-worth, relationships, personal transformation, all of it. It's just so refreshing. And in this journey, we dive into her story of domestic violence, a little bit of mine, trauma bonding, intuition, all of it. So she's just really known for like her big sister energy. And I totally felt it. And she has this like down to earth wisdom that will just blow your mind. So one thing to mention, she talks about destiny cards, and I just mentioned destiny cards and how she did mine. This is not like tarot cards or anything. So if that made you pause and be like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to listen to this episode," because I get it. I'm respectful of people's religion and their beliefs and stuff like that. It's not like that. Okay, so please don't let that be something that stops you from listening to this episode, because it's not the same, and we explain it in the episode. All right, so go to the show notes, click the links, book a call with me, work with Christie. After you hear this episode, you're definitely going to want to do that. I can't wait to have my reading because I just got the tip of the iceberg today. All right, everyone, enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Help me welcome Christie Raibeck to the show. Christie, I'm so excited you are here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Girl, so we met on Facebook, you guys. Well, we didn't meet on Facebook. We have like podcasting community and like stuff like that. And then that's how we got connected. And Christie, man, your topics and what you cover and what you do now and your healing journey spoke to my heart. And I was like, that girl, yeah. We're going to get her booked on this show. Because you have lived through narcissistic abuse, domestic violence. You have survived, rebuilt your life. I mean, there's so much to your story that I can relate to too.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it with you.
Yeah. Now I have like my own journey with this topic, and I've shared a little bit about previous relationships and my story with domestic violence, but I haven't shared like the whole thing yet. And I'm sure you can relate, but girl, it takes bravery to open up about this. How did you even start doing that? Because I have found myself surrounded by, I don't know, I guess a lot of shame and guilt and like, oh my God, how did I even let that happen? How did I even get into this position? Have you felt the same thing?
1,000%. Yeah. Even in the situation still, it was like, you've heard of these battered women, right? And even if that's just emotional, and I was like, there's no way. Like I'm a human behavior, I have a human behavior degree, like a master's degree. So I'm like, there's no way. And then there I was, a battered woman. I'm like, how did this happen?
How did this happen? Yeah.
And then it's
Like,
hard too, like when, I did some, as we were just chatting before we started recording, I did a couple of interviews on a podcast series, and it was still so hard for me to say certain things. It's like, what's okay, and so I found some solace talking to some friends or lawyers
yeah,
who can give me information about what's safe. But I did end up doing like a tell all interview with two women on a different podcast. That was
did
terrifying. Like I
you?
had to really think about like, is this okay? Am I gonna
Right.
backlash? So I get it.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's been like the biggest thing that I think has like kept me quiet is like, what's the backlash of this? Who's listening?
Yeah.
Who's gonna go run and tell someone?
Hmm.
And then you like I start gaslighting myself. I'm like, did this really happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it as bad as
Yeah.
my mind is thinking of? Is my story correct? Maybe
It,
you're wrong.
you know what? It's probably actually very correct, and it's probably worse than you think. That's kind of what I'm.
Dude. Okay, so this is what when I finally shared with friends and was like opening up. I mean, obviously, immediately someone had to know. Like, I had a friend in the ER with me the next day.
Oh
Like
wow.
that
Yeah.
type situation. Like people had to know. I needed close people in my tribe. But when I was like, okay, the next week I told like two of my closest friends, and I'm like telling them the story. I actually have video footage.
My lord.
Yeah, and I knew it was, I guess, real, and I felt validated later
Hmm.
when I was telling him about it, and it was dead silence, and not in the way of like, "Oh, we're listening," like dead silence. It was like, no, you could feel the energy of, like, dead silence, and I shared the video with them, and they were like, "My god, Melissa," and I didn't realize how bad it was
Yeah.
until someone else was absolutely just mortified,
Exactly.
and I'm like, "Okay." So okay,
Yeah.
I need to know your story. Like, how did you start doing what you're doing today and helping other people and heal? And oh my God, we're gonna dive into like destiny cards and human design and all of that. But like, I gotta know, like, how did this begin for you?
Okay. So long story, obviously, but
Yes, yeah.
um, as you can relate, and we can circle back, but essentially, I found myself in this relationship. It was 4 years and 10 months ultimately. By the time I left, I knew something wasn't quite right. I had found human design through a friend, and I didn't know what to do. It was like, I don't like this. I obviously can't change this about the relationship, but I didn't. It's like I'm not going to leave. Like it's a trauma bond. You can't. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right.
my thing was like, I prayed. I was like, God, if this is not where you want me, you got to pull me out because I don't have the strength. I don't want to leave. So you need to make so that I will, because that's kind of the way I am.
Oh,
Right. You get
yes.
it.
Good.
So, and then I was like, well, I got into this relationship by not living my design. So maybe if I live my human design, whatever's not here for me will fall away. And honestly, that's what I did. And then after the final assault, I moved all my stuff the next day and booked a destiny card reading 6 days after that. And this wonderful woman named Rosie Cutter, she's an astrologer to the stars. Like all her clients are celebrities. And so she did a 20-minute reading with me, and she explained everything. She's like, I'm not into like channeling and mediumship or tarot even. Like I'm not about that.
Right.
That doesn't speak to me.
Okay.
But this is a different thing, and it's pre-Egyptian. Have you heard of the Farmer's Almanac?
Yes. Yep.
It's like that. It's like we have these planetary influences that actually
Oh shit.
predict the farming, and it
Uh-huh.
does the same thing for our lives. So she's like, "Oh no, sweetie, like this whole year for you is about up leveling your self-love. And if he wasn't on that level, God had to kick him out." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "By the way, you have healthy love coming into your life on December 28th." That's the exact day I met my husband.
No
It's
way.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And so, even as things started unfolding, she told me I was a 9 of clubs. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? So I started looking into it, and I'm also a Virgo. So I was very like, I'm critical. I'm like, when I first heard I was a Virgo, I was like, absolutely not. That's bullshit. So anyways, I started learning more about the system, how that worked with human design. And then I was hooked. So now I do readings, and it can be like corporate. I've helped people with like business partnerships. that's really my favorite thing to do with it is like compatibility. Like what, when
Yeah.
I met my husband, I was like, what's his card? Where are our tensions? Like, what are we going to fight about? And it's been incredible. It's been easy.
Wow. And I'm glad you brought that up because we do have a lot of people that listen that don't like the tarot card aspect. They don't, a lot of people, they're Catholic, because I
Yep.
was raised very strict Catholic. And even astrology and all that
Yep.
is like, no, I was always told that's like things of the devil. Da, da,
Oh,
da. So
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up that like this is different.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I said Sagittarius in church the other day and everybody went silent. I was like, oh, that's right. I can't do that here.
Yeah. Sure.
But it's funny because the only in the book of Matthew in the Bible are the Magi, the three wise men, they say. And
Hmm.
those guys were learned astrologers from the East. So I'm like, hey, if they can worship Jesus, so can I.
Right? Right? Okay, so we have a lot of people listening that have probably been in your position, are in your position. Maybe they can relate to things that I was saying too. But we also have a lot of people in a position that are in that current situation. Maybe there's not domestic violence, but like they know they're not happy. They know that like this sucks, men or women, and this
Yeah.
is never going to change. Um and I'm not talking to the people that are having, like, a rough patch in their marriage or need to figure things out. I'm talking, like, they know their partner will never change. They're not willing to change, not willing to do the work, like and that's how I was. I was married for 17 years, and I got to a point, and I was like, "Damn, this is never going to change. He will always be this way in this person, and that's fine.
Yep.
It's not a match for me." And there were a lot of things that weren't fine in the relationship, but I was like, this is not a match for me. And I had to decide, how did you do it? That's the number one question that like I get asked when people hear my story and like how I left.
Yeah.
How did you do it? How did you finally make that last step and the fear of the unknown because when you have a life together with someone like
Yeah.
you share a home and finances and like women like in a way we become dependent in that situation
Yes.
we're not working as much or like
Yeah.
because we have a partner and there's so many women that are so scared to take the next step and do something different because they're like it's impossible. It seems impossible. How did you do it? How did you go that one extra step and leave?
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about because leaving is not like we leave all the time. What does it take like an average of 7 times to leave? So like
Yep.
leaving's not the hard part. Then they're in your phone, and they're groveling or they're like hoovering
Yeah.
or whatever. And I mean, if you have kids with a person, like my heart just goes out to those ladies,
Right?
those people.
Right?
Luckily, I did not have kids with my ex. He had two from his past marriage. Wonderful, wonderful kids. But I'm so grateful that I don't have to be tied to someone as co-parenting forever. So I have no advice in that situation. I have friends who've done it, and those are strong ladies. So, and there's lots of resources. Like there are trauma informed therapists
Mhm.
that can help with this kind of a thing. And with that in mind, that was actually a huge part of my journey. There's talk therapy. People have mixed opinions on that. I was worried going into it that I was going to spend hundreds of dollars blabbing on for 12 sessions before, and it's
Yep.
like, this is a moment by moment thing. You're going crazy every day after, and during.
Yes.
So for me, I left, like I said, after the final assault, I moved all my stuff. This was not the first time I had moved all my stuff, right? So he's like waiting for an apology from me, of course. And I'm just like, 2 weeks later, I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm sorry for my part in this. And then comes the hoovering. And then it's like, well, when are you coming back? And we can figure this out. And I'm in therapy and blah, blah. So I hired two therapists because I was like, help. So there was one from that a friend had recommended from this. She was online. She was great. Um, and then there was BetterHelp, which is, I don't know if your listeners would know, but it's kind of like an on-demand,
Yeah.
but they're all licensed. Like,
Yep.
so they were like, we can match you up in a couple of days. Like you can text with this person. So I was like, okay, great. So I booked both these therapists, and what I'm about to say is not uh, indicative of how BetterHelp is, but the therapist that I had on there, it was nice because she was available, and she was absolutely, certified in everything. And she'd been I guess a therapist for like a couple decades. But she had me thinking it was me. And I was like,
Damn.
yeah, like, I was like, "Oh, I see," you know? And
Yeah, I
but
know
my
what you
gut was
mean.
like, "Girl, no." And so when I talked to the other therapist, she instantly and this I was so relieved because, again, I was like, "You know how much we ruminate and how much we go back and forth and, did this detail matter? And, well, maybe I should have not raised my voice and he wouldn't have got annoyed or whatever it is." So this lady was like, "Oh, no, no. This is the cycle of abuse." And I'm like, "What? Like, what? How does that work?" And she's
Right.
explaining it to me. And then she's like, "This is a trauma bond." And she's explaining it to me. So for me, therapy was neither here nor there, but education is what actually helps my head pull me out of the, dynamic and be like, "No, no, this is not you. This is not him. It's a dynamic and you need to step away.
Mhm.
This is a cog in a machine and it's common. Like this happens all the time." So for me, it was that education. And that's why I wanted to make my limited series that we were talking about, just to let people know, like I actually have my therapist on there explaining the cycle of abuse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because when you're in it, you don't see it. Even
no.
no matter how smart you are or educated you are or, like, you don't see it, and that education, you never know what tool or what episode you created or even this show is gonna, like, make that light bulb go off for someone and be like,
Yeah, and one of the biggest problems here too is that the two top qualities of people who get stuck in this situation are agreeableness and conscientiousness. So if you're a conscientious person, you're looking inward. You're willing to take that responsibility and do that work. So and they know that. So
"Know that."
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I
for
had
sure.
and I love therapy and getting help, like you said. This isn't like a hit on that or anything, but, I remember I was talking to a therapist. We were talking to a therapist when I was still married, and my dear friend is a family and marriage therapist, but she can't be my therapist, but she was my friend during this process and this time. And I had told her one day what the therapist had told me, and she said, that the therapist that we were seeing, and I had an individual session with her, and she's like, women around your age who get divorced, they usually fall from grace. And I was like, "Oh, well, I don't wanna fall from like, what does that mean?" And she's like, "They're less income and less this and da da da," and I'm like, "Oh." And then I had shared that with my friend one day because she's like, "What are you doing? What will your future look like? Like, where will you be in a year from now?" She had asked me that, like, "If you stay and everything is this exact same in a year from now, how do you feel about that?" And I'm like, I am not okay. That makes me want to jump off a cliff. Like,
Yep.
I couldn't even imagine that. And I told her what the therapist had said, and she was like, "Oh, no." She's like, "That is completely her opinion. That is wrong." But
Mhm.
that kept me there probably a whole nother year. When I look back
Wow.
on it, that one statement,
Yep.
I was like, "Oh." And she's like, "That was not fair. That was not fair of her to say to you. She should never have said that to you." But I'm all about therapy, but it's finding the right one and the right
Yeah.
connection and someone who's actually gonna, listen.
Yeah.
Once you left, like, rebuilding from the inside out, what did that part look like for you? Because physically, you probably had to rebuild,
Yeah.
and
Oh
like you
yeah.
said, on the inside, you had to rebuild. What did that process look like for you?
Yeah. So a lot of it for me had to do with, well, first of all, remembering, I mean, they say like, "Oh, find yourself." And I'm like, again, Virgo. I'm like, "I'm right here. Don't like, what are you talking about?" But so for me, I went back to my parents' place, lived in the basement for 3 months.
Mm,
And I was a lump and I wasn't eating. And then my sister like brings me this pita one day and she's like, "You're gonna eat this and I'm not leaving the room until you finish it." So and then it was a lot of, I mean, you're crawling out of a black hole. Like
yeah.
you are like, I don't even know who I am or what I like anymore because your life was all about them. So I mean, the destiny card stuff was interesting. It kind of kept my head thinking about things. Of course, I was ruminating about all of that. And then a lot of it was getting back into gardening like I liked when I was a kid, or
Mm,
salsa dancing. I was going salsa dancing every single weekend.
nature,
Yep.
movement,
Yep.
not shocked.
Getting thrown around by men dancing with me, so in a good way.
Right.
So that was huge. Getting my friends back, like the friends that can't watch
Yes.
it anymore. And then they're like, anyway. And they're not even like, let's talk about it. They're like, let's go out. Let's get dinner. Like,
Yes.
let's have fun, So that was huge. But honestly, the thing that I am just so grateful that I was able to do was I had already had my eye on this human design retreat in Costa Rica. So I had gone on one in January. This was 2023.
Okay.
I went on one. I made some contacts there. And then there was another one in July that was going to be just for my energy type. I'm a projector. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Costa Rica because I had heard that my ex was stalking me. Like he was like showing up at my softball games, which I didn't even know that he knew I played softball. This was after the fact. So I'm like,
Mhm.
how did he know? So I'm probably being tracked. Like I have no idea. Um, and yeah, so there was there. Oh, and then like you said, starting over. I mean, like when we got together, he got me to get rid of my car so I could drive his and then pay him for the car that the money I was paying for my car. Anyways, there was that. I worked
I
full time.
say because I had a vehicle situation too.
Yeah, it's common. It's part of financial abuse.
I
Yeah,
thought it made sense.
it did.
Sorry.
And they know
Continue.
that.
Continue.
Yeah, so I worked full time for him, ran his business, and was living with him, obviously. So it was like, and again, praise God, I was 30 by the time I left. We were never married; it was a cohabitation situation, and so by the time I left, I still felt like, oh my gosh, I was waiting for a ring for almost 5 years, and now I'm starting over, which is painful in itself at any age. And so I was like, well, I have to start over anyways. I have to find a new job. I have to buy a vehicle. I have to find a place to live. Like again, this all adds to the black hole that you're like, how?
Yep.
Like, how am I getting out of this?
Yep.
And again, can't imagine doing it with kids. I have no idea what that must be like. I I
Mhm.
feel for them. So I went on this retreat. I was like, well, I have to rebuild. I can rebuild later. I'm going to go on this 2-week retreat. And girl, when I got there and I got to be around all these projectors and learning about, human design, all this nerdy stuff and just being in nature and seeing like the bird of paradise flowers and being in a bikini. And of course, I'm like malnourished. So I'm tiny and it's great. My body relaxed. I was like, I can breathe here. And
Mm.
the life came back into me. Like I wanted to do stuff again. I was like, oh my gosh. So I did the rational thing and canceled my return flight. So I literally got someone to come pick me up that I had met in January. He drove me down to Hako Beach, which is like in the south. And I checked into a surf hostel. And they're like, how long do you want to stay? I was like, I don't know, maybe a week. Like we'll see. And so
Oh,
they just kept extending my stay because they're like, hey, like you're checking out today. And I'm like, nope, I just had another week. And it's like $20 a night. Like
right.
this is like, it's a hostel. But it's right on the beach. There's like a pool bar downstairs. It was stunning. And so it's now 3 weeks in. It's the Lionsgate portal. It's August 8th. And I'm like, I want to stay here and I want to find a job here. Like this is feeling good. So I write down, I'm manifesting. I have my little notebook by the pool and my coffee. And I'm writing down like the kind of job I want to have. I'm like, something near water. I'd love to be bartending again. Like that seems pretty easy. Something I don't need like a visa for or whatever. Well, you should, but this is probably a huge problem. I'm bringing this up actually. But I kid you not. So it's like supposed to be this when you can
No
manifest.
way. Yeah.
Dude, so I started like, I guess they literally just had someone walk out. So I started the next day, I think it was. And yeah, it was like I had my shorts and I had my little like work tank top.
Mhm.
And then, I stayed at the hostel for a bit. And then I found an apartment on the beach, $400 a month, came with a cute little cat. And it was easy. It was like, I have no reason to leave. I don't need a car here. I can walk. I ended up buying like a little bike and it was amazing. And then, so that was huge. Like if there's women or people out there that can physically get out of that's not possible for everybody, but that was huge. Even if you can just get away for a couple weeks
I
because
agree.
you're out of their reach. And I catch myself using like the feminine as the victim and it.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
That is, when I did my own podcast series, I was hoping that to have more of a representation. Unfortunately, it is a lot of female victimization, but there are men, and I've seen it personally. So
Yeah.
be cognizant of that. But yeah, get out of there if you can. Just go somewhere cheap, just change of scenery, remove yourself, and let that life be rebreathed into your body.
Right. Can we talk about, because you had mentioned like trauma bonding before and how that's like a real thing. We've talked about it before on this podcast. It's been a little while, but that even when you leave and they come back or they keep texting you or you go on their social media to see if they're posting or just to look or whatever, that gives you, it's almost like you're addicted to a drug and you're
Mhm.
trying to go through withdrawal. And
Yep.
those little things, like it's like a dopamine hit and a hit and a hit. Even though it's not good for you and you're trying to break free from it, you're still getting something from that.
Yep.
You're still getting a value to you, even though it's not good or
Yeah.
helping. Can you talk to that about that and how much that plays in a role? And like how you're saying, if you can get away and you can cut and be
Oh
gone
yeah.
and be free and give yourself that, do it.
hmm Yeah, it's true. And it takes time. Like,
It does.
it didn't get built in one day.
Nope.
So it does take time for that to lessen. I mean, even I think it was just a couple days ago, I like saw a certain birthday and then I was like, was that his birthday? And I'm like, wow, I don't even remember anymore, which is crazy because I'm all about birthdays. So I was like, wow, it's like, and not that it hadn't been fading away, definitely. But I'm like, it actually doesn't trigger me anymore. I don't even remember that guy's birthday. So
Mhm.
it takes time. It does take immersing yourself into your new life. Really the self-love thing is key and that's what I've learned through my journey is like this people don't like to hear this, but
Say it, girl.
relationships are a mirror, it's like they will match our level of self-love. And I'm not blaming the victim. That's not what I do. But we are, I want to carefully say we are responsible for our own lives.
We allow it.
Yep. We do allow it and not even consciously,
Right.
we pull it toward ourselves to learn the lesson, I believe. And not that it's like a rite of passage or anything, but if you are someone who, like me, is codependent and you're putting everyone else's needs before yours, this is the trajectory of what that turns into. You
Yeah.
put yourself last, they also put you last because they
Yep.
are mirroring you, right? So self-love, it's hard, especially as women, we love to serve each other and put everybody else first. And, it kind of keeps us safe in a way too.
Yeah.
That's been hard. I still deal with that. I'm still like, man, I really don't have the capacity for that. Am I a selfish bitch? And then
Right.
it's like, I don't care because I left that situation. So
Right. Yeah. God, the whole self-love part too, it's hard. It's difficult to find that and accept that because we have been who we are like our whole life. If you're 30 years old, we're talking 30 years
yeah.
of undoing and relearning something that like our parents didn't teach us. Like, sure, I might have heard like, oh, love yourself and you're so pretty or like something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But no one taught me or showed me what real self love was and self worth. And no wonder I attracted relationships that just kept what that belief for so many years going. It kept it going. And, after that last relationship for me, I was like, real work, real talk this time. I don't ever want to be in this. And I ended up attracting, I don't know if I've even said this on the podcast or not, but I ended up attracting the most beautiful relationship where the man now is like literally like obsessed with me. Like the worth and the value and what he pours into me, which girl, that's a whole other level of like having to learn and accept that
Oh
and
yeah.
what calm and healthy looks like.
boring, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Healthy and calm looks boring as fuck.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you have to like, you have to sit with things that would trigger you. And you also have to learn to not live in chaos. You have to learn like this is healthy.
Yeah.
You can live without chaos, and then you have to catch yourself not trying to create chaos and drama
Yeah.
to just keep that going. Did
Yep.
you find yourself doing that too?
Hmm.
Not
Ooh.
on like a conscious level either. It's not like I sat there
Yeah.
and like,
Like, mwahaha. Yeah.
yeah, and like try to stir the pot or like poke the bear, but
Right.
there's still moments. I'm totally honest. There's still moments where I find myself like, yeah, but and like pushing something. And it's like, "No, let it what calm down. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Relax."
I don't that's a good question. I do enjoy other people's chaos at times. It's like someone's
Sure.
like, "Girl," I'm like, "Oh, okay, tell me," and then we look at the cards and stuff. And that is part of why I do what I do. Like, people come to me in crisis, and I'm here for it.
Sa
Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm totally a coach. My
Yes,
life is other people's drama and
yes,
chaos and be like, "Okay, let's figure this out. Let
exactly.
let's reverse engineer this. Like, how did
Yes,
this start? And, like, how are we gonna fix this? And, like, let's keep going so this doesn't continue on."
correct. It gives us purpose, and so I'm like, "Do I create it?" I feel like I have because I've changed how I am in relationship and with myself.
Mhm.
What I've dealt with after the fact, even while in my, new happy marriage, is like there's still a lot of narcissistic, we'll say, patterns behavior of women in my life now. Like new friends that I'll meet, and I'll just be like, "Ooh," like probably
'Cause
not
you
gonna
can see it now, right?
you can
Like,
see it.
you can point it out.
And then some people would think that that is me starting drama. But I'm like, "No, no, this is a boundary. And if you want me to stick around and be nice, I can't speak to how this is gonna go because those people don't like people like us who have learned and grown." So
Mhm.
when some people say I start drama, I'm like, "Maybe," but I know what that is now. It's like I am not, you know, and then that gets, I mean, once you've done it a number of times, just more and more, you get sick of it. I'm not doing this, It's like, "No, no,
Right.
if you wanna be like that, you can do that over there, blocked." Like,
Right.
you know
Yeah, yeah. Oh, boundaries can create their whole
Yes, that's what
weird.
it's exactly, and that's why we didn't have any, because then it created, conflict, but it's a lot
Yeah, well,
more
and not having
peaceful.
boundaries, we think it creates quote unquote, air quotes, peace.
Yes. Yeah, at our expense.
Just gullible or not gullible. I guess gullible, but just like I go with the flow and like I
Yeah,
don't create problems.
right,
You want to
and
walk
it
all over
creates
me?
so much inner turmoil, yeah,
Mhm. But
that's hard, I still deal with that.
oh yeah. But it's crazy how much you can see, and I think this probably is what makes us so good at what we do
Yeah,
because you can see it a mile away starting and you can be like, that's gaslighting.
yep,
Like, I want if I'm talking to a client, like, I want you to take a step back, and I want you to see what that person just told you and how your feelings just completely got dismissed,
mm,
and just and sit with that for a minute, and then I'm like, "God, when I was in it, I didn't see it at all."
yeah, of course,
I was like, "Wow, I'm the problem."
yeah,
I saw a reel the other day, and it said something like, because people ask, like, "Am I the narcissist?
yeah,
Like, am I the problem?" And the guy was like, "Listen here. If you are asking this question and you are
it's not
truly
you.
concerned,
Yep,
there is no way it's you because they don't have empathy.
yeah,
They don't look within."
right, yep, and that helps a lot too, because there are moments of that, it's like, "Maybe it is me," and then it's like,
Mhm.
but it's not because 'cause I'm concerned that it's me, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly, and that concern right there is key. The
yeah,
the willingness to change, the willingness to listen, the willingness to own the whole situation and the responsibility. That right
yeah,
there tells you
mhm,
a lot about yourself.
yep.
Okay. Okay, tell me about these destiny cards. I need to know about this. And then can we do a reading
Yeah. So this
of
is the easiest way for me to describe it.
okay,
It's when people say now, they're like, "What do you do?" And like now I have a way that I describe what I do. But
okay,
here's what I start with is I just say, "What's your birthday?"
okay.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. So yes. So I have it up here. So destiny cards is an ancient system. Like I said, I was a little wary at first because I'm just not about tarot. It's always felt a little dark to me. Like it feels and it's intuitive. So I'm like, is it the sandwich they had for lunch telling them that? Like what?
Right.
Again, Virgo here. So I'm just like, what, what you're telling me that the card fell out and that means something. Like for me, I'm just like, I don't know, guys. This is a predestined, like it's a pre set up. I'm not pulling cards. I'm not like
Okay.
it is subjective, but the data doesn't change. It's statistical.
Okay.
Just like the Farmer's Almanac, like we were saying. So it actually predates the tarot. It's based on astrology and numerology, ancient sciences, and it's based on what the original 52 card deck was created for, which was the weather. It was a calendar. This is what the Gregorian calendar is based on.
Okay.
So every birthday has a card, and so your card, and not so there are not every birthday is just how do I say this? There are several of each card. So just because I say you're an 8 of diamonds, that does like that people won't know your birthday from that. There's several 8 of diamonds birthdays in the calendar.
Okay.
So then based on your sun sign, you have a second card in the spread of the first one. So you are not only an 8 of diamonds, but you're also an ace of clubs. And then you have what we call a decadent ruler, the third card, based on the deacon of where your birthday falls in the sun sign. So you're also a queen of clubs. You are intense. And I feel like this makes a lot of sense where our conversation has been already. It's like spicy and I love chatting with you. It's funny because you're actually my ex's card, the 8 of diamond. And that card has the capacity to be, let me say it like this. There's a high and a low of everything. Okay. The 8 of diamonds card, where it sits, it's in the most desired spot in the deck. So it's like fame, recognition, beauty, money, abundance. Like it's 8 of diamonds. Like we're talking money. Like this is, values. Like you don't overcharge for anything because you freaking deliver. Like and then you know what things are worth. There's this. No, you don't skimp people. Like you don't overcharge or give people less than what their service is worth. Like you're straight up. Then the low side is that you could be a bully with money. Or here's the thing: if you're not, you will attract someone to teach you that lesson. It's karma. It's like, here's my thing. I'm a 9 of clubs. Apparently, every 9 of clubs is what one of the karmic themes is promiscuity and cheating. Because we're in search of the perfect like love relationship. If we're unsatisfied in a marriage or whatever, we'll cheat. That's the pattern. Except I was like, I'm never fucking cheating ever. Like I watched that shit go down, and I'm like, I'll be dead before I cheat.
Right.
So who did I attract? Cheaters, right? So it's like I'm gonna learn the lesson either way. So again, it's like on the low, you could be this financial bully, and if you refuse to learn that through you, then you're gonna learn it through someone else. So it's fast.
Yes, I did.
Right. So, and then your second card, so Ace of Clubs, this is an extremely ambitious card. It's actually it's called a semi-fixed card. And so you kind of have this cosmic soul twin, which happens to be one of my other cards, the Two of Hearts. So you and I are very similar. We have a similar karma in a way. So this totally makes sense. And then your third card, this is going to be funny. This is the highest gift on the spiritual side. It's the Queen of Clubs, the mother of intuition. She's a service oriented authority, and she leads with her intuition. That's the high side. Now the low side is in the circles. Me and Rosie, we call this the ultimate cunt. So there could be like aggressive driving, like you're very, or again, if not you, you'll attract people like this, where you can be extremely impatient and you just have no patience for people because they should fucking know. Like they should just know, but it is as a queen, like you're going to be this feminine side of it and you're very intuitive. So like when I just pulled up all these cards right now, I was like, oh shit, you are
like, who am I talking to?
Yeah. Well, I could feel it already, but I love it. So yeah, so this is like, and I go through each of these also has like Achilles heels, and they have these karmic patterns and people that are destined to come into their lives, teach them certain things. And this is where a lot of healing happens in my sessions, like people that are going through these crazy situations or these, breaking trauma bonds. It helps to see, like, here's the energy behind why this is happening. Because you can kind of,
Mhm.
again, like, pull yourself out of it. And even just the dynamics, like if you have too much Mars and Saturn with someone, that is going to be abusive unless you're aware. Like awareness always transcends these cards, but it helps to see it in a dynamic, in a like a formula almost. So that's a little synopsis. And then I also can see your future themes. It's more like a weather report. And this
Okay.
is where my faith comes into it, right? Because, like, yeah, the Bible totally says God hates divination. And I'm like, well, then what the hell am I doing? But it's like, it is like, again, how the Magi found Christ.
Yeah.
They followed a star. Like, this was ultimately used for farming. It's not predicting your fate or your destiny. It's called destiny cards. But it's more like the weather. It's like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
like how you said theme. It's more
it's
like the
theme.
theme.
It is. It's like, I mean, what I kind of get snarky and say to people is like, "Oh, is it from the devil to check the weather?" Like, that's all this is. It's like if you wanted to take a trip and I look at the weather and it's like, well, there's going to be a tornado over here, sweetie. So maybe we reroute it or we change the time. Or it's like they're saying that it's going to be a snowstorm. So why the hell would you go to the beach in a bikini? Like go skiing. It's this kind of a thing. It's just showing whether you still have choice. There's high and lows of the cards. So, but it helps with making decisions for that reason.
Okay, what's my theme?
For the year, your theme is actually, so you have three because you have three cards. And it also, we can zoom out and go to like 7 year, spread. We can do your life spread. We can do your daily cards, weekly cards. I like to
Oh,
use the annual because it just, the principle is the longer that a card is over top of you, the more power it has. So for example, for you this year, starting on your birthday of 2026, that's like, it doesn't go from New Year's to New Year's Eve. It goes from birthday to birthday.
oh, okay.
Ever since your birthday, your theme is a 9 of hearts. And so 9 represents endings, graduations, completions, fulfillment. There's like, again, it can be disappointing because it's an ending, or it can be graduation, celebration. Hearts represents obviously relationships, loved ones, emotions. So when we see a 9 of hearts in someone's spread, it can be like if they want to get a divorce, it can be a great year for them to get a divorce because you have this ending energy. If you are single and you want to be married, a 9 of hearts can represent the end of your single era and you end up getting married that year. This in this way, it's the weather kind of a thing. And then in your other card, I have perfect. You have a king of clubs. So there is mastery and authority in communication and spoken
Oh, oh,
media, which here you are, right? Doing the podcast and likely many other things. Um, I can even see too your challenges for the year and the results.
oh
This is
God.
so your third theme for the year is the two of clubs, which represents exactly what we're doing right now. It's like conversation over ideas.
Okay.
And your challenges, like the things you really want this year, all have to do with, and you can edit this part of it if you want. It looks like financial stability. You have this 4 of diamonds. So it's like we want to just solidify things up. Even if money's flowing, it's like we just want it to be consistent. We want to plug the holes. We want better organization, this kind of a thing. And then you also have this restlessness in love. You have a 5 of hearts. So like you want to change. You want to, maybe you want to take a trip, like a trap. Maybe you want to travel with whoever you're seeing right now. Or there can just be restlessness. You're like, I want to, I kind of want to meet some new people. Or I want to change in my relationship status. That's already showed up, in the way of an ending. You are though in a very auspicious cycle. Like last year was a big year for like fame and recognition and money for you. Like you may have even launched this podcast last year, like something like that.
Uh-huh.
Next year, you receive something that you have been wanting for like 7 to 15 years. It's called a wish fulfillment year. It's a most blessed year.
Really?
It, you're getting something big that you've wanted for a long time. So make a list.
All right.
And that, again, that starts on your birthday next year.
You said for 7 to 15 years I wanted it.
Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This
So
is so cool.
I know. And then there's also like when people come to me with questions like, how do I make money this year? We're looking at their Jupiter cards. For, how what's my relationship status going to be like? We look at their Venus. Like it's broken into these 52-day periods. Okay, so 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year, 7 days in a week, 7 visible
Mhm.
planets. It's this whole matrix that breaks them down. And I'm actually just wrapping up what's called a Magi certification to learn. Like I was already learning this system, but I'm getting certified by the guy who like created the modern use of the system.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so people can reach out, book a call, book
Mhm.
a reading with you and work through this.
Yeah.
Do they do it multiple times? Like, would they do
Yes.
multiple sessions and work with you? Like, because this is a lot of information that
It's
you
a
just gave
lot.
me about myself. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy crap, I want to know more. So I got to
Yeah.
imagine this takes
Yeah,
time.
and what I do as a 9 of clubs is I tend to data dump people because 'cause I'm so excited, like, you can
Yeah.
just see me light up, right? And then I'm like, "You gotta know this," and so what I used to do is, like, go nuts, like, spaghetti at the wall, fire hose people for 60 minutes, and then bless this course, they're like, "You gotta find out what their biggest problem is right now." Not in a pain point thing, but they're like, "What how can I best serve you in 60 minutes? Is it gonna
Yeah.
be data dumping, or do you wanna talk about what really matters to you?" So, we call it a transformational card reading. So when I tell people about their cards and we go deeper and I say, "Here's part of the karma, here's always gonna be a problem," that it's a lifetime theme, a challenge that you have, and you will get to the other side of it. It just helps you also give yourself permission to be you and not be ashamed about that kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Like, when I say to someone like you, an 8 of diamonds, I'm like, "Yeah, you're overbearing and you have power and control issues." You can just stop feeling bad about that because it's just part of who you are, and then you can
Right.
use that in service, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's amazing that way. It adds lightness. And then so a lot of people's questions are honestly covered in just talking about their cards. Like, that's just aspects of their personality.
Wow.
And then, yeah, we just, is it love? Is it money, relationships, health? We're going to look at your Saturn. It's like if they've got like a death card, that doesn't always mean death. In fact, most of the time it doesn't, but it's like this could be tricky for you this year. Like something's ending, could be a friendship, could be a habit. I don't know. And there's all like, again, we can always look at the high and low expression. So it's good, and this is why for me with my faith, it doesn't negate. It's like,
Right.
this is
Yeah.
not I'm not praying to the cards, I'm not worshiping them, I'm using them like a weather report to understand what God's doing in my life or what
Right.
God's doing in the life of my client. So but it's been a tricky balancing act to like balance the two, you know what I mean?
I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. And like all of your journey and your healing and your insight, it make I can tell it makes you better at this. Like
Oh
you
my God. Yeah.
that is what makes you special and unique and how you can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason and there's a lesson that we've learned, like we were talking about earlier, that that person was supposed to teach you a lesson,
Yeah.
that situation was. Oh my God. Christy, where can people find you? How can they book with you? We'll put everything in the show notes. Give it to us all.
Yeah. So I am on Instagram
Okay.
mostly. I am on Facebook too. So, add me as a friend, whatever it
Okay.
is. But Instagram, there's a link in my bio. I like to keep it pretty easy. I'm not very good at like text stacks and everything. So
So
I
it's like click
literally just
link book.
yes, yeah, yeah, and actually not even, like, I don't even have a Calendly. I did for a while, and then I'm just like, "You know what? I do work very personally with people, so I literally have, like, a Google form link. It says book a reading, and then you fill out the form. It's like, "Hey, here's where to pay," and
Love
then
it.
we reach out and schedule. Like, it's like, "Hey, when are you free? I could do this
Right.
afternoon," whatever it is, dependent, also based on if they want just, like, a birthday, they're like, "Oh, my birthday's coming up. Can we do a 60-minute call around my birthday?" That's not as urgent as someone that's like, "Yo, I need to know what just dropped this afternoon." And I'm like, "I got you." So it is very personal. So for that reason, I don't have like a calendar that I need to keep
Right.
checking. I'm also a paper calendar girly, so that doesn't work very well with my jam. But that's yeah, Instagram, link in bio. That's probably the easiest way.
Perfect. And what is your Instagram?
At Bikini Boss. Bikini has two I's. So BIKINII
Okay.
boss. It has a lot more than two I's, but anyway.
We'll put it in the show notes. Everyone can click on
Perfect.
it and see it too. But you said birthday too, and I was like, oh my God, this would be such a cool gift to give someone for their
Yes.
birthday.
I get that a lot too. Yeah.
I did because you know how you're always like, what do I get my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Like what do I
Who
even
has
get her for
everything.
her? Yeah, what do I even get her? Like and this would be
And I record every reading so you can listen back because I give dates too. Like I can say, you know, like Melissa, you have in your Jupiter this year a full transformation happening. Like you can really make money from doing some deep transformational changes in what you're doing if you want to,
Right.
there's creativity there too. Like, so it's, and that's the point of this is that starts, I won't say it on here, but like on a certain date. So when I'm doing a reading with a client, I'll give dates of like, hey, here's when this energy, here's when the snowstorm's hitting. And then they can listen back. And even though we might make some kind of general predictions, they're like, it wasn't what we said, but it was dead on and a different, like it's the same energy, different expression.
Right.
So that's really helpful for people when they're like, what's going on? I'm going to re-listen to my reading and just see, what was happening at this timeline. So
Uh-huh.
I record every single one.
Oh my God, this is so cool. Christy, you have been such a blessing to the show. This is awesome. I really am grateful that you came on, that we could talk about this, dive in. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey. I am a firm believer that you just never know what episode is going to hit someone. You never know where this is going to fall, and it changes someone's life, and they just needed to hear this message at this moment, this time. And then this person or this woman gets out,
Yeah,
and she's like, I just heard stories from 2 different women. They're in it. They did it. I can do it too.
absolutely. And
So,
I will mention too, I on Spotify and YouTube it's just 12 episodes.
okay.
It's called Dating After DV. So I literally made it to just send women or people in that circumstance. I actually interviewed men on there too of their experience. So again, it's not just
Nice.
women, but if that is something that people are dealing with, I would love, that's obviously a free resource. The first episode, actually, I interviewed the ex-wife of the Wolf of Wall Street, which was fascinating. So she's on there too. But yes, Dating After DV by
Okay.
Christie on Spotify and YouTube.
Okay. We'll put that in the show notes and links to that too. This was incredible. I can't thank you enough for coming on and just being brave and sharing your story and helping others know that there is hope at the end of the tunnel and you can do this. You guys book a call and a reading with Christy. This is so cool. You'll have to give me the date when we end. Thank you again. This was
Thank
great.
you.
Everyone stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time.
The Bond Life podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content shared here is not intended as medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any health, fitness, financial, or legal decisions. The opinions shared on this podcast are personal experiences and insight. So if you need expert guidance, go find the right professional for you. Thanks for listening.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.